So to start here, when we're looking at our quadratic formula, it's helpful to know why the quadratic formula works and where it came from. So any quadratic equation can be solved by completing the square, even where we have a quadratic where we don't know the value of a, b, and c, we just have the variables themselves of a, b, and c. So let's do the process of completing the square on the general form quadratic equation, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We're going to start out the same way by subtracting the constant to the other side of the equation. That's going to leave us with ax squared plus bx, and we're going to put our box so that we have room for completing the square. Now for this next step, we have to factor out our leading coefficient. Because we have this value for a, we need to make sure that we factor it out so that we maintain that leading coefficient for vertex form. So we're going to have x squared plus, when we factor a out of b, we're left with b over a times x plus our box equals negative c. Because we factored out a, we need to remember to multiply by a on the right-hand side. So now what we can do is figure out what goes in the box. Well, what goes in the box is b over 2 squared. And right now, our value for b is b over a. So it's b over a divided by 2 squared. When we simplify the complex fraction, we're left with b over 2a squared, which is b squared over 4a squared. B squared over 4a squared on both sides of the equation. Now we have a perfect square trinomial. So the left side is going to factor to give us x plus, and then remember what goes inside the factor is the value before we squared b over 2. So we're going to have b over 2a, quantity squared. And on the right-hand side, we can start to kind of simplify. If I multiply a by this expression, I'm going to be left with b squared over 4a. Then what we need to do is we need to add these two terms together. In order to add them, we need a common denominator. So this has a common denominator of 1. So in order to get the common denominator, we can multiply by 4a on the top and the bottom. So this is going to give us negative 4ac over 4a, add it to b squared over 4a. So that's going to leave us with b squared minus 4ac over 4a. Now at this point, hopefully, some of these expressions are starting to look familiar if you're already familiar with the quadratic formula. So let's go ahead and finish up from here. So now that we've got it in the vertex form, we can go ahead and solve. So we're going to divide both sides of the equation by a. That'll cancel it out from the left. That's going to leave us with x plus b over 2a, quantity squared, equals b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Now we can apply our square root property. We'll square root both sides, so we'll be left with x plus b over 2a equals positive and negative the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of a squared is a. Now note, we cannot take the square root of b squared or 4 because those are terms, not factors within the expression, so we can't take the square root and use our product rule. So we have to leave it all in the radical. Lastly, we get the x by itself by subtracting. We have negative b over 2a plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And since we have the common denominator, we can write it as one big fraction, negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that gives us our quadratic formula. Quadratic in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0 has the solutions of x equals negative b plus and minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a.